Hello everyone, I'm Jeanette Passmore, and I currently serve as an academic advisor at Rhodes State College in Lima, Ohio. I've been working as an academic advisor for 6 years and have experienced various levels of engagement with curriculum development and implementation at different institutions. I previously worked at Owens Community College, where I worked closely with the dean and the chairs in the School of Arts and Sciences on new courses and programs, as well as providing feedback on current programs. At my current institution, I've not had any interaction with curriculum development, and the feedback on programs has been done very informally. Today we're going to be looking at curriculum development at my home institution, James A. Rhodes State College, referred to as Rhodes State, and the assigned institution, Columbia Gorge Community College, referred to as CGCC. I will briefly introduce each college before moving on to describing the path that programs take at the institutions on their way to implementation. Rhodes State is a 2-year technical college in Northwest Ohio. It's a public institution that offers 73 programs leading to associate's degrees or certificates in the areas of allied health, nursing, business, public service, information and engineering technology, and general studies, offering both an Associate of Arts and an Associate of Science degree. The National Center for Education Statistics, NCES, lists the fall 2013 enrollment at 3,599. The college is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, also known as the HLC. CGCC is a public 2-year community college with 2 campuses in Northwest Oregon. The college offers 55 programs leading to associate's degrees and certificates in the areas of business, computers, education, nursing and allied health, as well as renewable energy. The NCES lists CGCC's fall 2013 enrollment at 974. The college is accredited by the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities, NWCCU. Programs at each institution have similar paths to implementation. It will not be possible to cover every step in great detail. I'll provide an overview of each step and then focus on a critical piece of that step. This presentation presumes that each course has been developed and approved by the curriculum committees of the colleges. Let's begin with an overview of the curriculum committees and move outward to the final steps of accreditation and state-level approvals. Rhodes State and CGCC require that program proposals be submitted through the shared governance process. The first step in the process is the curriculum committee. The curriculum committee at Rhodes State is charged with overseeing both course and program approval using guidelines and procedures provided by the Ohio Board of Regents. The Shared Governance Manual states that one of the duties of the committee is to advise on the planning and coordination of new curriculum development and reviewing programs on a regular basis. That's typically a 5 to 7 year cycle. CGCC charges the curriculum committee with reviewing the appropriateness and integrity of courses, program offerings, certificates, and degrees, and analyzing the congruence between the content and credits, rigor, and overall effect of the programs. If these curriculum committees function true to policy and procedure, the Rhodes State Curriculum Committee would be more closely involved with programs prior to their formal presentation to the committee. That's because of the charge to advise on planning and coordination, whereas the CGCC committee is really just reviewing those programs as they come up. The makeup of the committees is also different. CGCC's consists of a faculty member from each of the 9 academic departments, a library representative, and an instructional director, which is the equivalent of a chair or a dean based on the organizational chart. There are 3 instructional directors. The additional members of that curriculum committee are 2 non-voting members, a curriculum office representative, and a student affairs representative. Rhodes State Committee is of similar size with 11 members. However, it only includes a faculty representative from each division and not from each department, along with a student affairs advisor, the registrar, the director of distance learning, and a staff representative. It's the contrast in non-faculty representatives that's interesting. The role of the registrar on the committee appears to be to provide insight about administrative procedures and to ensure there are links between programs and general education requirements. She also serves as an expert on accreditation and on state rules. The role of the librarian on the CGCC committee is not specifically outlined. But while doing research, I did find it acknowledged that while librarians are important experts within the campus community, CGCC may benefit more from having the librarian work with faculty who are in the curriculum and course development phase rather than at the review phase. At the same time, Rhodes State could definitely benefit from having an instructional designer on the curriculum committee. Instructional designers are not included in the upper levels of the shared governance, and Rhodes State would benefit from their expertise in designing and developing the curriculum. Once it is past the curriculum committee, our program takes a different path at each institution. The Rhodes State programs will be reviewed by the Academic Council. The Academic Council consists of the college deans from all 5 divisions and the Associate Vice President and Vice President of Academic Affairs, the Vice President of Student Affairs, a staff and faculty member, and the Director of Assessment. With regards to programs, the charge of the Council is to review and make recommendations. When reviewing a program, the Council often calls the developing faculty and his or her chairperson in for testimony. This allows the Council to ask any outstanding questions and to make recommendations for changes prior to approving the program. As the final reviewers of a program before it is presented to the President and the Board of Trustees, it is imperative that any issues be addressed at this stage. It is not unusual for the Council to remand the proposal back to the faculty or curriculum committee for clarification and adjustment. One of the important members of the Council team is the Director of Assessment, who fills the role of the monitor. The Director will work to ensure that the evaluation criteria and assessments for each course within the program align with the college's mission and overall learning outcomes. The Director and Academic Council often use curriculum mapping as a way to evaluate the proposed program's fit within the institution. CGCC routes programs approved by the Curriculum Committee to the Chief Academic and Student Affairs Officer, or CASSO. The CASSO must approve a program before it can move forward. The operating procedure for curriculum development and approval clearly states that the CASSO will not override the decision made by the Curriculum Committee, but will work with them to reach consensus. And if it's not possible to reach consensus, an ad hoc committee will be assigned to resolve whatever issues are at the forefront. Before it gets to that point, the CASSO will work with the submitting faculty member and the Curriculum Committee to get clarification. It does not say that the CASSO will make recommendations, only that a discussion will be held. I imagine that this could mire some programs in the cycle for a lengthy period of time. Rhodes State could also have an issue with a program getting cycled through the curriculum and academic committees repeatedly. This would be another instance where an instructional designer may be able to help clarify and address any issues that are occurring during these discussions. The next 2 steps in the program approval process are more likely to happen in a timely fashion, especially if the previous processes have worked correctly. The President will be presented with the new program and will take it to the Board of Trustees. For both institutions, the final step for a program, before a program is sent to an external agency, is presidential and board approval. At Rhodes State, the President reviews the program and then presents it to the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees consists of 7 members, 5 of whom are appointed by the local boards of education and 2 by the governor of the state. By the time the program reaches the Board of Trustees, there's very little discussion. The program is presented to showcase how it will improve enrollments, meet the mission of the college, and its impact on revenue. CGCC's president presents the program to the college's Board of Education, which is comprised of 7 locally elected members from the 2 counties that the college serves. Similar to Rhodes State, there is very little discussion at this point. The function is more to share information about what has gone into developing the program and what its intended outcomes are. In order for the next 2 steps, the order of the next 2 steps, accreditor approval and state entity approval, are not clearly defined for either institution, although both are required. Ohio requires that all programs be approved through the Ohio Board of Regents, or as we call it, OBOR. The process for the new program within The process for a new program within an already approved degree begins with an initial inquiry. The inquiry prompts an institutional mentor to be assigned. The mentor works with the institution to develop a program review plan. Within 1 year of that plan being developed, a proposal must be sent to the chancellor. It must be done no less than 4 months before implementation. Proposals undergo peer review that focuses on the faculty, curriculum alignment with discipline expectations, the need for the degree, and the support the institution has available to bring the degree to fruition. If there are any concerns, the institutional mentor works to resolve them. The program is then posted for a 10-day public comment period. The proposal and public feedback are then sent to the chancellor for approval. Oregon community colleges must submit their programs to the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, HECC. The HECC provides a variety of forms and guidance on completing the forms. The actual process for approval of the programs is difficult to discern. The program must pass through HECC, the Department of Community Colleges and Workforce, as well as the Oregon Office of Student Access and Completion. Both states closely align their program approval requirements with those of the accrediting bodies. OBOR will accept the materials prepared for the HLC, and Oregon administrative rules, the legal codes for the state, specifically mention that colleges accredited by the NWCCU should follow the accreditor's course approval procedure. For new programs that are being proposed under existing degrees, both accrediting bodies require an application for substantive change. HLC designates that new programs being offered under an existing degree requires prior commission approval if more than 50% of the program is not derived from courses in already existing programs. Because the program we are discussing in this presentation is not a new degree or certificate, we will presume that it does not meet this requirement. Therefore, the program would be submitted to HLC as a notification. This is done via the institutional update process, which occurs once a year when institutions submit the update form, which is very lengthy. This type of program also falls under the minor change notification for NWCCU. The accreditor requires that CGCC notify them prior to the implementation of any minor change by submitting a brief outline of the proposed change, addressing specific areas of interest such as mission, planning, and budget. This outline is reviewed by NWCCU officials, and if it is found to be in alignment with the institution's current accreditation, it is approved. This process appears to be more thorough than the institutional update required by HLC. The number of documents and processes involved in bringing a new program to fruition is overwhelming, and we have only addressed the policy and procedure in this brief overview. If one were to consider the early efforts in developing a program and the politics involved in leading it through the policies and procedures, the time investment is staggering. There are several areas where improvements could be made. I've mentioned a few of them during this presentation. The first recommendation would be that colleges select and put in place a program design model. The current system relies on an organic system of faculty inspiration and willingness to invest the time and effort. Using Diamond's model, instructional designers at both colleges could work with the faculty to identify areas of change. Or, as Latuka and Stark suggest, the senior academics on campus could prompt the faculty with the 4 questions related to curriculum planning. What are our specific purposes and learning objectives? What is the best sequence for teaching the content and/or skills? Identified, what is the relationship among the concepts to be taught, and how are these concepts related to the student's understanding and experience? And what is the best way to evaluate the success of a plan? Bringing these questions to the faculty on a regular basis would encourage consistent, innovative thinking. The other recommendation would be to clarify the processes and procedures that are currently not outlined in the documentation. For example, RSC could develop a flow chart that clearly defines each step of the process and what each committee or council should accomplish in regards to the program proposal. I also want to reiterate that having an instructional designer on the curriculum committee would be a benefit. For CGCC, it would be worthwhile to examine adding additional faculty to the post-curriculum committee step that currently only involves the CASSO. In addition, working with the Department of Community College and Workforce Development to document the steps of program approval beyond the current repository of forms and directions would provide transparency and make the process seem less daunting. Thank you for your time.